let's expand now 4x plus 3y squared to the fourth power. I chose this one because one of the terms has an exponent, so that's going to affect our answer a little bit, so I want to talk about that. And just to kind of save us some time, I already did the Pascal's triangle row 4 over here on the right, so we're going to use those numbers to expand this out. Alright, so our first term is going to be 4 choose 0 times 4x to the fourth power times 3y squared to the 0 power. So that's going to be 1. 4 choose 1 is 1 times 4x to the fourth. So 4 to the fourth is 256 times x to the fourth, and then 3y squared to the 0 power is just 1. So our first term is going to be 256 x to the fourth. Alright, and I'll write that up here because I have no other room to do that. And I'm going to erase it. And you know what? I'm going to change the screen a little bit. So just remember that 4 choose 1 is 4. 4 choose 2 is 6. 4 choose 3 is 4. 4 choose 4 is 4. It's 1. And you're looking on the right here. Okay, so for our next term, let's do 4 choose 1 times 4x cubed times 3y squared to the first. Alright, so 4 choose 1 is 4, 4 cubed is 64, and then x cubed, and then times 3y squared. So we multiply all these numbers together. So if you do 4 times 64 times 3, that's going to come out to be 768. And then we get x cubed, y squared. So notice how the x coefficients are going down by 1, but the y coefficients, right, you could think of this as like y to the 0 power, is going up by 2 because of the y squared term right there. Alright, so let's try the next one. So that would be 4 choose 2, which is 6, times 4x squared times 3y squared squared. So 4x squared would become 16x squared. 3y squared squared would become 9y to the fourth. So now I'm going to multiply these numbers together, and you get 864, and that becomes just 864 x squared y to the fourth. Okay, so now we have 2 more terms to do. Alright, so our next one will now be 4 choose 3 times 4x to the first times 3y squared cubed. Alright, so 4 choose 3 is just 4. You can do that on the calculator or evaluate it like I showed you in the second video. Times 4x times 27y to the sixth. Alright, multiply all these together, and you get 432 x y to the sixth. Alright, so that would be your fourth. Oops, forgot some numbers here. Okay, and then our final term is going to be 4 choose 4. So you always end with n choose n times 4x to the 0 power. So that's just 1. We don't have to really think about that. Times 3y squared to the fourth. Alright, and this is also just 1, so we don't think about that either. So 3 to the fourth is 81. Alright, y to the 8th. So that thing I told you about, like the exponents always adding up to n, that's going to be before you simplify. But if you have, after you simplify, if you have a term that's raised to a power like 3y squared, then that rule won't apply. But before you simplify, it does. Alright, and then our final question here, just going to jump right to the last term. Need this to go away. So find the coefficient for b to the sixth in this problem. So let's see what we know. Well, we know it's going to be 8 choose something. So I'll put like a box there. We have to fill in the blank. Alright, times a to some power times 2b to some power. Now I want it to be b to the sixth. So since this is just 2b to the first power, I know that this has to be a 6. So that I get my b to the sixth. Alright, well these numbers here always have to add up to b, or n. So you get 2. And then here, it technically should be a 6, but if you put a 2, it's okay, because 8 choose 6 is equal to 8 choose 2. Okay? So if you do 8 choose 6 on the calculator, you get 28 times a squared times 2 to the sixth, which is 64, b to the sixth. To find our coefficient, we can multiply them together. So 28 times 64 comes out to be 1792. Alright, a squared b to the sixth. So the coefficient in front of b to the sixth would be 1792 a squared. Alright, so that's how you could jump right to a specific term.